It's not about students. It's not even about Americans. It's about people. That's what I would have written on my sign if I had gotten the chance to actually participate in the protest. My name is Strange Eli, and welcome to a kind of serious video / report about the March for Our Lives protest and the gun debate that is ravaging America right now. After the school shooting that happened in Florida a little over a month ago, several students had gathered together and created a revolution through their cell phones. Starting on Twitter and building out more and more, getting in front of cameras and begging and screaming and needing people to change and needing people to let their voices be heard. And for the first time in a long time, I felt really inspired by these kids who are not even that much younger than I am, to participate in a national and sometimes even global conversation about guns and their inclusion in everyday society. When the Pulse nightclub shooting happened, I had made a video then, and I didn't really have as strong of opinions politically and personally as I do now. If I remember correctly in that video, I said a lot about coming together as a community to stand up for what's right, and that something like this only brings the community stronger together. And I think I was speaking more as like a member of the LGBT community than like a human being. Plus, I just wanted to report some facts about the March for Our Lives movement and the March for Our Lives marches that happened today. The day I'm filming this is actually March 24th, 2018. And so the marches happened earlier today. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend because I had conflicting work schedule. But I was also dumb in thinking that it was happening later in the day, that it was happening in the afternoon where I would have been able to make it. So I did my best. That little piece of paper that I threw around just a second ago, I had pinned to my apron for most of today. So that way I could still try to do my best to stand with those who were fighting for their country today, and give my support in a way that maybe people didn't see and maybe some people didn't appreciate, but at least I knew that I wasn't just like rolling with the punches. And so I still want to kind of like throw some facts at you before I kind of get into my own personal thoughts. There was an estimated 12,000 people who showed up in Portland around the kind of like waterfront area to protest today, which is really impressive. 12,000 people is 4 times the size of my town that I grew up in, Castle Rock. And that is an insanely large number, and I'm really proud of everyone who went and voiced their opinions and did what they needed to do to fight for their country. Additionally, there was also a March for Our Lives that happened in DC, and that was kind of the crux. That was the biggest one that was organized. That was kind of the main march, and that, according to NBC News, brought in approximately 800,000 people. 800,000 people. When I saw that number, and of course it's estimated, it's approximate, but that's the size of some cities in the US. Like, that's astronomical. That's so many people. And again, for the same thing with people who are in Portland, I just want to say, like, my heart and love goes out for all those people who went and tried to give their voice in the only way they knew how, and tried to incite change in the way that they knew how, and are actively fighting for their country and actively fighting for the safety of kids, and not even just kids. It's like I said, it's not about students, it's not about Americans, it's just about like fighting for a human's right to live. If you are interested in hearing my opinions, please keep watching. If this is the point in which you stop caring, or you are so tired of hearing people's political opinions, thank you for watching, and you are welcome to leave. After the Stoneman Douglas shooting, I was so angry, and I thought about, like, how could this happen? How could this, again, like, how could this keep happening? And, you know, I felt that way after the Pulse shooting. I felt that way after the Vegas shooting that happened earlier this year too. And I was just thinking, like, how could that happen again? And so I was sort of on this, like, let's just destroy every gun. Like, let's just get rid of every single firearm that exists, because, like, and of course there was the argument, and the argument was brought up a lot by my mom, that sometimes you need a gun to protect yourself from dangerous people. And my thought process was, you know, like, well, those people wouldn't be as dangerous if they didn't also have guns. Like, people who buy guns to protect themselves are protecting themselves from people who have guns already. So I felt like, you know, so that was kind of a moot point, but my opinion has become more rational and more reasonable. The initial ban on bump stocks, I think, was the right call. But unfortunately, it doesn't change anything because people have 3D printed bump stocks. People have 3D printed all kinds of accessories and modifications for their guns in the past, and those can sometimes be cheaper. They might not be as good, but they're cheaper and they are just as easily accessible, if not more easily accessible. So unfortunately, that doesn't change much. I think the increase of age to 21 is the absolute right call. I think it's very telling about the kind of American culture when at 18 you can buy a gun, but you can't drink. Or, like, you know, even participate in the military, but can't drink. I think that the age gate for participating in the military and buying a gun should be increased to 21. And of course, there's a discussion about mental health, and there are already, like, very obvious, like, of course we need to change the way that we're dealing with talking to people and helping people out in schools and in life, and removing the stigma around mental health, so people are more people are less afraid of going and getting help, like professional help that they may need, and all those things are obvious and important. But Emma Gonzalez, you know, when she had her big famous call to action after the shooting, you know, she brought up the point that it's like,
well, we need to pay attention to the fact that this isn't just a mental health issue. He wouldn't have harmed that many students with a knife!
It's just, and that's just exactly how I feel. Today in DC, when Emma Gonzalez got to speak, she set a timer for 6 minutes and I think 20 seconds, which was the amount of time it took the killer to kill 17 students and leave the school and blend in with the crowd and get away. And that part is so telling and so moving, because there shouldn't be a weapon that you can just, like, click to die, you know, like there shouldn't be a weapon where it's just like a button equals death. So I guess to go down a list: stronger background checks, increased mental health help, raising the age for guns to 21, ban guns for people with even a minor criminal record, and ban assault rifles from entering civilian hands, because those are weapons of war, not weapons of self-defense. I don't really know a good way to end this video. The more I talk about it, the more sick I feel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If they bring back the rating system, go ahead and give this video 5 stars. I would say write something in the comments, but don't waste your time. Just go to I'm gonna find some fundraisers or something that I can do to help and put them in the link in the description down below. And if you can find the time, and if you have the money or something, just go ahead and donate to those. Also, speak your mind on Twitter. The more people who talk about it, the less it fades away from the more that we talk about it, the less it fades away from the public consciousness, and the less that happens, the better, because we can't let this happen again. Never, ever again. I'll talk to you guys later, and bye-bye.